This is my sister Sharon. Here we are with Sharon. If you can give your whole name, Sharon. You're the oldest daughter of Pete and Ruth Skerston. So it'd be Sharon Ann Marie Skerston Richardson. Okay, she had a lot to do with the July 4th, 2010 reunion with our cousins, which motivated me to start taping people. So here we are in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, California, and California.
Okay.
So I'm gonna turn this over to Sharon because she's got a lot of good stuff to say about our dad. You remember Peter T. from Oglesby?
Yes.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Yes, well, we named our son after him. In fact, our son, Peter James Richardson, was his godfather was my dad, and his godmother was my sister Patsy. That was like 46 years ago, 47. Anyway, I'm supposed to talk about my dad, Pete, and what it was like growing up in Oglesby. I didn't really grow up there, but I felt I did. I visited there so much. And just thinking about the wonderful holidays we had there with the family. I mean, it was wall-to-wall tables from the front door end, honeys, to the back. And food galore, fantastic meals. This was Thanksgiving, Christmas if we got snowbound in, and then again in Easter. Fantastic. To this day, I love spring. I think of spring and I think of Oglesby. I think of Oglesby, I think of my dad. And I think of nature. He had a love for nature.
Okay.
So Dad and Mom met through Dad's first cousin, Ed Shibkus. His wife, Joyce, worked at Carson Perry Scott, where our mom, Ruth Helen Ross, worked. And lo and behold, they were married. She followed him over to Georgia right before he went over to Germany. And she always thanked Ed and Joyce. And through the years, they got together like couples on the weekend, and they always had parties in the basement, especially on a Saturday night. And Dad would put down salt on the tile floor to make sure they could polka. And they had lots of beer. And they had fun. And of course, I couldn't go down there because no children were allowed. So me and my two sisters, Ann wasn't even born yet, would lay on the floor and listen with our ears in the bedroom vent of all the partying going on down there. But through the years, Dad was a person who didn't believe in unemployment. Even though he couldn't work in the months of November, December, some of January in Chicago because of the weather, he still thought he had so much integrity that you ask nothing of no other man. You provide for yourself. And the fact that he was in the U.S. Army 2 different times he hitched up. No wonder he's buried in Fairmount Cemetery under valor. And I hope I don't start crying. Well, his...
Oh, Sharon, thank you for doing this. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. His passion was nature. And to share nature with his children and grandchildren, whether it was chickens and geese, pigeons and bees and turtles and ducks and geese in the backyard on Newland, or if it was just spending time. The definition of time is taking of yourself and putting a moment in the space of time and spending it with others that you love. And he surely did that. With taking us fishing, I was his fishing partner as we went on our family vacations up into Wisconsin. I can remember being on that aluminum motorboat in the middle of a lake, and a big old thunderstorm and lightning is coming down, and Mom and Lois were on the bank waving us, come on in, come on in. Well, the waves got so dark and heavy that, yeah, we came in. That was true. So Dad had a love of spending time with his children, and especially with all of his grandchildren. Dad loved being a carpenter. After he came home from the war, and it was just around the time that Lois was born too, we had a house. He bought a house, 5248 South Hamlin in Chicago, and he built dormer upstairs for our grandma. Grandma Ann and for our Uncle Rudy to live. He also went downstairs in the basement. The whole basement was a finished basement with a finished kitchen. And he did have chickens and roosters in the backyard there on Hamlin. But Marie and Frank Calhoun said, you know, those roosters are really waking me up. They're getting to be an aggravation in the morning. So Mom and Dad started looking around for some property. And we almost moved to Argo, but then they found a place in South Stickney, Illinois, which became Burbank, Illinois. He did love to have those carpentry projects, so he built a home at 8005 South Newland. And he also helped Jim and I get a house over there on Helena, and Jeff, the young man, and my sister Patsy, the young woman, that's where they met. And then we moved from there as Pete was starting kindergarten out to 7840 South Main in Burbank, and Dad helped us with that house, and that's where my sister Ann met Joe, the neighbor, and those two got married. So those were fun times. Okay, so his hopes and dreams for me was to be a good wife, mother, and a grandmother. He said he didn't want that higher education stuff for us. He wanted his daughters home, taking care of the family, the foundation of America, with love and integrity. And Dad did not believe in anything automatic. He says, I got 4 girls, and I got a wife. We don't need automatic clothes washer. We don't need automatic dishwasher. That's out the window. I think that's so funny. If we ever had a bad day in school, we came home and said the teacher said this or did this to us. Teachers were always correct. Always. He had a love for his country, had pride in his work. He taught us to be leaders and be a good example. So let's talk some more about Oglesby. We would go down there on family holidays and in the summertime, and that's where my love for fishing, nature, mushroom hunting in the woods with him, and getting to know his 3 brothers and his sister, and then the extended family like Bud and Carlene and Sarah and Jay and Ona and Mitzi and all the rest. I mean, we kind of all grew up together. Dad and I would go fishing at Starved Rock, and we would fish around the island there. It's nice for me to see the dam at Starved Rock and how it's improved through the years. And he loved his family. When he was in World War II in Germany, he sent items home to his brother Joe as souvenirs. He loved Joe so much. And Jimmy was a tease. He was such a tease. In fact, he kidded me a lot. And you have to get to know him to know that he's teasing. But I remember being in his apartment in the city of Chicago when he was still a policeman. And he was making some kind of a meal, and he taught me how to crack an egg. I never knew how to crack an egg until then. All right, so then Denny and Dad, 2 peas in a pod. They could have been twins. They look alike, they think alike, they act alike. On those family holidays, when we're in the big long tables at a Honey's, and the meal was all done, and you had a delicious raviolis from Aunt Honey, the women would get up and they would go to the living room to do crocheting and knitting. Us kids were in the kitchen doing all the dishes. So Dad and Uncle Dave very nonchalantly would sit in the front porch. Then one by one they'd get up and sneak out the back door individually, around the corner and down the slims. It was so much fun. And then I think of Aunt Helen. My sister Ann gave me a great compliment. She says, you know what, Sharon, you're just another Aunt Helen. Oh, I thought that was pretty cool. So if I had anything to say to my dad, I'd say thank you.
And moving right along.
Since we're both crying, how can
Oh wait, there's more. Bailey Falls, Sharon. You didn't talk about Bailey Falls.
Well, it was around 7th and 8th grade. I remember distinctly going to Bailey Falls because I took my friend Sharon Allen, and the water was not deep at all, and it was just like your own private lagoon here. It was just they had the big granite rocks all around, and I guess you had the water in there because of the mill around or the quarry. I wasn't sure how Bailey Falls was formed, and I'm so glad I was there, and I'm glad I saved the photos because it's gone now. It's gone now. So my favorite thing to do is go to Star Rock and go to Oglesby. And Sarah said to me, you know, I really think it's cool that you bring your grandson Jake to Star Rock in Oglesby.
But you brought your other kids, your grandkids too.
We have now brought all 5 grandkids.
And there's another thing. You told me a story about Bud's wife, Mary.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. It was my
What year do you think this was?
Grammar school graduation, 1958.
Wow.
And my mom, boy, she believed in handmade clothing, tailored clothing.
I think she sewed her own graduation dress from her 8th grade graduation.
All right, so...
Because wait a minute, getting back to our parents, Sharon, I don't think our mother or our father graduated high school. I think it was grade school and that was it.
Yeah, if anybody had a chance to go to high school, it was the boys, if anything. It would have been Augie and Uncle George.
That's on my mother's side, our mother's side.
That's true.
Right, but not Dad and not my mom because the family was different then. So this woman made you...
Oh, a 2-piece lined light blue suit that I'll never forget.
And
I
who
could see
was
myself
this?
Wearing it.
Okay.
It was Bud's first wife.
Oh, okay. So Mom must have asked her.
Oh yeah, and I had that suit for a long time. Of course, I passed it on down to my sisters.
Okay.
But those times were growing up, and it was a different base time of the century because the men had just come home from World War II, and his mindset was on taking care of family, and he loved his family in Oglesby, and he taught us.
Yes. Now, do you remember anybody saying anything about Grandma and Grandpa, like their demeanor, how they were, or how Dad was? As I think Dad, as a youngster, he had trouble in Catholic school, we know that. Okay. But he was an outdoors guy, and he used to do what? He used to go out in the woods and...
Okay, let's talk about the name Skip. I think he got that name Skip because he skipped school. I don't know if he was the first one, but to have that name in the family, because each of the kids now, even Bud, the nephew to my dad, refers to his name as Skip, which is great, which is fine. But I have photos where our dad signed his name Skip. Dad was the youngest boy. The 4 boys, he was the youngest boy. Then Helen was born. And some people say our dad was our grandma's favorite, but I don't know about that because she passed away before I was born. Dad was the spunky one. He wasn't interested in school, as I understand, and he didn't want to be in school. So Grandma's sister, probably Aunt Veronica, said to our grandma, put him in the Catholic school. So they put him in the Catholic school, and then the nuns got really stern with him, as they would do, and he would skip school. And he ended up in the woods. And he learned what to eat, the berries, the one type of spongy mushrooms, and he would listen to the birds, and he would mimic the birds. That's why Bud says he's never heard a better whistler of the birds than our dad.
Because he would sit in the woods and the birds would come to him thinking he was another bird.
Dad admired his cousin, the Masunases, and their mom, Aunt Veronica.
Oh yeah.
He would bring.
Remember, you used to go see her. When we used to go visit her, Aunt Veronica used to tell Dad, "And bring one of your chickens, but bring them alive. Bring the chicken alive. She didn't want no dead chicken."
Right, or a duck. You know, she would take it all. And then Dad would speak to her in Lithuanian.
Yes.
And so did some of the people in Oglesby on Florence Street. I'll never forget the good times I had at 256 and 258
Yeah.
Florence Street, and the Catholic Church, and the swimming pool in the city there. You know, the last time I was there as a young kid, we were all diving in and having fun with our cousins and us girls, and then I got out of the pool, and I was kind of skipping and running around the pool. The lifeguard got so mad, threw me out of the pool. I'll never forget that till this day.
So you're a skipper too.
I guess I'm a skipper too. Thank you, Patsy, for doing this video. It's going to be awesome.
Sharon, do you remember your first time going to the cabin on the river?
Oh, God.
I don't remember that, but I remember throwing stones into the river, skipping stones,
Oh, yeah. He taught
and
us how to
watching
do
the
that.
barges.
Oh, the barges.
Okay.
And then we also went to camp at Star Rock. Our whole
Yes,
four girls
in a
and I,
tent.
in a tent near the bridge. I'll never forget the time this young kid and his friend stole Dad's boat in the middle of the night and took the boat. Well, that was bad enough, but then a barge was coming. And so Dad heard this whole thing, and he got down to the river bed there, and he started yelling at the kids. They yelled, trying to yell at everybody, look at the boat, get your little rowboat out of the way of the barge. So, yeah, the cabin, we call it the Rainbow Cabin because it was leftovers. The supplies
I never heard that before,
were
Sharon.
leftover shingles and wood from his carpentry jobs.
In Chicago, yes. But the boss knew he was building
Oh,
something.
yeah, he did. And it would cost more for the truck to come back and pick up
Yes.
a couple boxes of this leftover stuff than it was for someone to take it away. I remember the outhouse. Sure did.
That was bad, Sharon.
Smell.
To get up in the middle of the night and go up there with a
That's what you
flashlight,
did.
I was
And-
scared of the woods.
Yeah. That cabin that him and Denny built was a lot of fun for many people throughout the years. And I seen it being built bits and pieces from one room to another room being added on to a kitchen besides a camp stove, you know. And eventually I'm sure they got a toilet in there and a sink. And I think some of our cousins were there when they were in college. They had a lot of fun. Outside the cabin.
Did you ever go underneath the outside porch? Remember the porch?
Oh yeah, there was
Remember
storage.
that
Yeah.
storage? That always used to spook me
Well,
because it was so dark.
what I really loved was the big oak tree. That
Oh,
had
what the swing! I forgot all about that.
That was so much fun. That kept us busy for hours.
How about when you had an empty, old lawnmower? They took the motor off, and we sat on it, and we went down the hill.
I think
That was a good hill.
I think that was you.
Oh, okay. But the swing, I forgot about, Sharon.
I love the swing.
And it seemed like when the cabin was in its prime, we knew everybody. We knew the watchman.
Oh, yeah.
Who were some of the other neighbors? When we had more people come up from Chicago, we asked the neighbor to borrow his, and all the kids were in that cabin.
And by bringing Aunt Dot up, my mom's side of the family,
Yeah.
and the good neighbors, and her Pete and her friend that she knew all these years.
Peter and Mary Anton?
Mary Ann, I got
Oh,
the name.
yeah, she's still living.
For them to come up to the cabin. Do you realize that that's when Dad was able to share all of Mother Nature and Mother Earth with these people? Give them, pass on the love of the American Indians, what they've done for us?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this has been fun. And as you can
Anything,
see,
you don't remember anything about anybody said about Grandma or Grandpa, their demeanor?
well, Grandpa,
Do you remember any old aunts and uncles down there?
Yes, I do.
Who?
Well, first off, Grandpa worked in the coal mines. Our Grandpa worked in the coal mine. And I don't think he knew any English. Our Grandma, she was tough. And I wouldn't say mean, but she was just tough. I mean, she had to work the land to survive. You ate off the land. You didn't have big grocery stores in those days. Besides the fact that she made gin or whatever in the back.
Yeah, okay,
And then
so
Dad-
everybody did though.
Dad would fill up those buckets and go down Main Street or to the coal miners and sell that
Buckets of beer.
buckets of
And
beer
that was
the coal miners.
yeah, because she had mouths to feed.
And then there was an uncle who lived down the street, and Uncle Mike? No.
I don't know, but okay,
Tony?
somebody's got
Well,
it.
yeah.
Sharon, we just found out that Father Tony was born in Oglesby. Father Tony Masunas.
No kidding.
See, there's a lot that people are saying that when everybody sees this as a completed project, they're going to say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know all that."
Well, there was an uncle who lived down the street there from Aunt Honey and Aunt Helen, and he had hurt his hand a long time ago, so he wore a black glove. And when he passed away, what our dad got was a player piano. And we had that player piano on Hamlin Avenue. And it was the best thing, and it was the coolest thing. Then, with all the rains that come in the spring, as we all know it, the basement flooded and the piano got ruined. So,
But I remember playing that. But couple more things. When we used to go down for dinner to Aunt Helen's or Aunt Honey's, the kids would always go hiking in Starved Rock. Well, we tried to do that. But below, behind the houses, remember going down the stairs. One time Pete and who else was there actually walked down the old railroad way to the cement factory, and you guys didn't know where he was at. I didn't get Pete to say it, so you're going to have to tell the story about your son. Who else with him?
Rick.
That's Lois's son.
Yeah, and there might have been somebody else, but I think it was just mainly those two, and they were just exploring like we all did. We went down the cement steps in the backyard of Aunt Helen's home, and all that cement stuff was put together by Uncle Young. And they built everything, and I'm sure Diddy had
the chicken coops and
and the steps.
And I
down.
remember Aunt Honey's garden and all their gardens like that
Well,
in the
Aunt
back.
Honey had a fantastic cactus garden.
Yes, she had a terrace garden.
And Uncle Young, you couldn't do better than him as a chemist. He had the best garden.
He did hybrids, germinating. He germinated seeds. I should ask Ona. I remember having a conversation with Uncle Young, and he says, "Yeah, I put the two seeds together. I want to see what I get." And I just thought about that. Okay, so everybody would always go behind to see the animals. Sometimes we'd go down there. Did you play ball down there? Did you ever play down there behind the houses?
No.
Okay.
Because it was too hilly.
Okay.
And we walked down the tracks, and then there was a swinging bridge.
Oh.
There was a swinging bridge down there. I don't know how the train tracks, they got over it, but there was the cement mill down there, and we would hike over there, but there were dead chickens in there and dead animals. And it was one Thanksgiving when we were down there, and Pete and Rick were hiking along, and they didn't exactly tell us where they were going, because we were in the house doing our thing with dishes and cleaning up and stuff, and him and Rick started just walking, and we didn't know where they went. So it's almost like a comedy sketch where Denny and Pete got in one car, took one end of the town, and me and Jim were in the car, took another end, and then there was 3 or 4 cars. The family going every which way. It was the funniest thing to find Pete and Rick. Well, they did start walking back, and so they came on home, but we didn't know where they were for a while. And they had walked down to the cement.
But I remember Pete and Rick really loved going to Oglesby.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a paradise, especially to be with their grandpa. And you know, every time you walked in the door, no matter what door it was, you knew the people.
Yeah.
And the party just got better.
Yeah.
So,
wonderful times in Oglesby.
yes. I'm still here with my sister Sharon. Oh, there she is. She wanted to add some more data.
As an addendum to my other previous interview, I just want to say it was Uncle Anton who lived down the street from Aunt Honey and Aunt Helen, and he was the one who had the glove on his hand. He was married to a lady by the name of Mary Pruskus, something like that, and he is the one who gave us the player piano. We were given that when we passed away, but Uncle Anton Shimkus was so nice. I don't think he spoke or understood English too well, but how warm and loving. That's all I want to say.
And now that's
Lakers.
Okay, now that you moved out of Chicago and you live in Los Angeles,
I'm a changed person.
so you're not the Bears,
I
the
am
Sox. Okay, just the Bears and the Sox.
Sox.
No, not that other team.
Lakers.
No, I thought you were going to say C-U-B-S.
Oh no, I never
Oh,
B-U-L-O-S.
Hey Sharon, there's a lot of good stories about Pete and Sandy, and you told us one about Pete. How about one about your daughter Sandy?
I remember the day she was born, and it was special at Little Company of Mary Hospital.
In Chicago.
It's Evergreen Park near Chicago, absolutely. I remember distinctly calling up Dad and Mom and talking to Dad and saying, Dad, I've got a girl. He was so thrilled. After having 4 girls himself, he was absolutely thrilled. By then, Pete had been born and Rick McFadden had been born, but here's a girl, so he was thrilled. Another story about Sandy is when she was about 4 years old, before kindergarten, at 8005 South Newland, she decided to play in the backyard, and she's seen these cute little white boxes. So she's running around playing with the ball and everything, and she goes to sit down on a box. And my dad is at the far end of the yard, and he comes running. She's sitting in a beehive. She's sitting in a beehive. So we went and got her, and Dad got her, and then she was fine. But this video is great. Thank you for letting me add this.
Okay, and also, you know, you got to put in there that Sandy for the reunion made a trek from
yeah, it's like
from where you guys live around the Los Angeles area.
Through 12 states or something.
And they wanted to make this reunion because Sandy thinks a lot of Starved Rock and
family, Oglesby,
and Grandpa and yeah.
So the love there.
And they always feel at home. She told me they always feel at home when they come in there.
Absolutely.
So Oglesby is going to go on for more generations. So Sandy's children, okay, you've got Dad, you've got you've got Pete and Sandy, and then you've got grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So Grandma and Grandpa have a lot of great-grandchildren.
This is true. We have Dominique, Deidre, Rachel, Ben.
That's
Jay,
grandchildren.
And then our great-grandchild, Cale, Cash, Richardson, Helm. He's 1.5, almost 2. He'll be 2 in July. Plus, Dominique is expecting. We're so excited.
That's
And
another
she's
one.
going to have a baby girl the first part of October.
Okay.
And her birthday is April 28th, born in California. But if she was in Chicago, she'd be born on April 29th. So there you go, Dad. Another girl.
Oh, that's...
See you in Reno.
Now, when we go to Oglesby,
yes,
would we ever detract from the main goal of getting there? I say no. There was no plan A and no plan B. It was always plan A, get there as fast as we can. Don't you agree?
Correct, but we do have to stop at the saltwater well on the way and then do the curvy thing through the rock. Not all these fancy dancy highways they got right now, which is wonderful. And of course, if you took the fancy dancy highways,
well, we used to get off. Wait a minute, we used to get off and go through Ottawa.
Yeah.
And then go up that way.
Yeah.
So we can go through Starved Rock.
That's
and be scared out of our pants if we were sitting on the right-hand side of the car.
Dad would, he would tease me about falling over the edge. Oh gosh. Hey, did you get the morning sun here?
Yes, I did.
Oh, awesome.
And now we're working on plan A in our lives. We have a plan A, plan B, plan, you know. Goodbye, Princess. We'll see you in Reno.